Well, hello there. This is Virtuals the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. I've got a really interesting game to show you today. Now, at the beginning, the computer on 3 different positions recommends really inhuman moves when my opponent plays a rather unusual move in the opening. And it leads to quite a complicated opening and early middle game position. And then in the middle of the middle game, I managed to capture the lead and the win eventually by making use of 2 audacious bluffs. Basically, psychological tactics that caused my opponent to blink, and then I managed to get ahead. So let's go take a look. I've got the white pieces and I led with the Vienna. So e4, e5, knight c3. And my opponent with the black pieces decided to defend with what I dub the Philidor-ish defense with 2d6. Now against this, of course, I usually play d4. I typically expect captures and then capture back. But here, my opponent decided to defend their e-pawn with queen e7. This was quite unexpected. I don't think I've ever seen it before. Now, I knew in the game that this is clearly wrong. Possibly a mistake. Stockfish calls it an inaccuracy. But the question is, how exactly to punish it? Well, in the game I thought, look, why not knight d5 attacking the queen? And of course, they bring the queen back to d8. So I suppose I win some tempo. But the issue now here is the knight is very to kick with a simple c6. So what exactly should I do? Now in the game, I decided just to develop my other knight. But look at this move recommended by the engine. Bishop to g5. So bishop to g5, ostensibly attacking the queen. And look, it basically straight up hangs that bishop. And I think the logic here is to get the queen to take. I get to capture with check, and then I take the rook. But, after that maneuver, sure, black loses the right to castle because the king will end up on d8. But my knight is kind of stuck on a8. And they've developed their queen. It doesn't really look like white is better, but apparently it is. So that's really interesting that in this position, Stockfish wants me to basically sacrifice that bishop. Anyway, I didn't do that. They developed their bishop to g4, trying to pin to the queen. And here I decided to develop my queen also to get it out of that pin. You can see Stockfish still thinks sacrificing potentially, or at least moving that bishop into that position is best. And now the knight gets kicked, bring the knight back, attack the bishop. They take, trades. They develop their knight now to d7. I develop the bishop looking to long castle. They decide to push this side. Now, that's understandably a mistake because obviously it looks like I'm going to castle queenside. There's no attack here, so h5 is probably a bit of a wasted move. So there we go, long castle. Queen out, the relative mistake again because there's an attack there. Stockfish reckons taking the center by black is best. I move my knight to c4, attacking the queen. Queen moves aside, attacking the a2 pawn. And here is another very curious engine move. So I'm thinking, look, I'm going to have to do something with that pawn. So I play king to b1. Often king to b1 is good anyway after long castles. But you can see Stockfish just wanted me to take, completely unafraid for the queen to take a2 while the king is still on the c1 square. That looks absolutely horrifying to me because it looks like, a potential mate could happen. So yeah, again, very difficult to play move, I think, for a human. They now attack my knight. I move the knight backwards. They push the d pawn, so these aren't particular accuracies. Now I take that pawn, captures. I thought this was fine for me because I end up in this position, but Stockfish didn't really like it. It says that I'm basically simplifying down where black is up a point of material. I thought I had a good enough position to make this work. It is about 0, 0, 0, but there we are. They attack the bishop. Bishop now to c6, attacking the rook, also attacking the pawn. I thought that was a pretty good fork. Apparently, the rook should have moved to this square. I now take that pawn, and a curious thing here is a Stockfish thinks that taking with the e-pawn, effectively, having two sets of doubled pawns along with isolated double f pawns was better. Again, really difficult to see, I think. Maybe I get to keep the pin on that knight, but I didn't think it was, that good compared to having that broken pawn structure. So again, very, very interesting. They take, that's fine. I now move my bishop with an attack on the rook, also attack on the pawn. They move down. I suppose that makes sense. Attack the rook, rook out of the way. I now take. They capture that pawn now. So again, that makes sense, I suppose. I can just push my b pawn forward. And here, I was thinking about the position. So black is a little bit ahead of me. I had a sense, I just had this psychological sense that black was a little bit spooked. So they may be up a point of material, but it just felt like I had the initiative. And I thought that black was probably going to be wary. I was seeing, look, I was trying to calculate, is there a sacrifice there? And I thought, no, it doesn't look like it. They can capture back, and I don't think I'm actually ahead afterwards. However, that comes with check. And then, of course, I get to take the knight back with check. But after that, I didn't think I really had anything. So I didn't think that was the right move. But I thought if I took, black might think that this was a trap. It's not a trap. It's just a bluff. But they might think that it is a trap. So I decided to play the bluff. Bishop captures pawn on f7 with check. And here, black thought for a while. They thought for a while. Obviously, it looks like they should capture. But you can see, after about a minute, they decided, no, it looks too scary to take, looks too much like a trap. Move the king to d8, and that is a blunder. And in fact, it's about plus 4.5 at higher depth. It's almost plus 5. They blinked, and I won the bluff. Here, I move my pawn forward to basically stop the sort of double attack that black had. Apparently bringing the bishop back was better. That's fine. They retreat the bishop with an attack on my rook. I bring the rook back, defending. They now develop their knight to the edge of the board to attack my bishop. And here, I give the bluff again. I don't move the bishop out of the way. That would be the most obvious thing to do. But instead, I play rook hd1. You can see another tricky move lined up. And I'm saying, go take my bishop. Just go do it. And here, once again, black thought that must be a trap, blinked, decided to bring another piece back to defend. And that was a mistake, because now I can move the bishop, triple attack on that knight, and it's still pinned. Now it's completely winning. Doesn't matter what they do. Now here, I should probably just move my bishop out of the way, but I decided, why bother? Just take. They take, that's fine. Check, take, and check. And here, basically, we enter a winning endgame, because with check, that's a fork. I take that pawn. They try to, advance the king. That's fine. Here, I had a long think on what to do. I thought, look, is there a way I could trap their king? Is there a mating net? I thought for quite a while, and eventually I calculated, yes, let's play c4 with check. c4 with check, you can see, it took a little bit of a while, and here the king moves forward. That's fine. Rook to b7 with check, with x-ray defense of that pawn. What is the king going to do? I think the best thing for the king is to move this way, but that's a hard thing to countenance, and they didn't do it. They pulled the king back, and that was a blunder, because this king is now trapped by my rook against the A file, while all of their other pieces are on the other side of that force field. Here, rook to d5, and basically mate is now unavoidable. Now, annoyingly, the opponent didn't resign, didn't play on, just let about 6 minutes of time just run out on the clock. Now, the best interpretation is maybe they had some problem with their network and they couldn't play, or they had an emergency, so they just let the clock run out. But if you're letting your clock run out just to annoy your opponent, that's not very sporting. Don't be that person. In any case, what the mate looks like, it almost doesn't really matter what the opponent does now. Let's say they make some random move, that's basically mate. Good game, GG. The big takeaways from this game is to always look at stockfish evaluations in context. The best engine moves may be very difficult to play by humans. Secondly, always think about psychological brinksmanship and tactics. Bluffs are part of a tactic that can sometimes really work, as it did in this game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.